Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are on this wonderful planet of ours. Welcome back to the preview show for season 24-25 on the Same Old Arsenal podcast, sponsored still by the fabulous Ruth Beck Art, and we will be showing you some of her art later. First of all, let me introduce who's with me tonight. My brother, podcast brother, from another mother, my lovely James Cook. How are you, darling?
I'm very well, thank you. Been a little while. Certainly feels like it's been an awfully long time, but very excited to be back with yourself, Amanda, and of course the wonderful Mervyn to be talking about what will hopefully be a very exciting season.
Yeah, it's lovely to be back with you, Cooks. We haven't seen each other all summer, have we? Chris and I have done some shows, but you've been so manically busy with work that it's lovely to have you back next beside me. Chris is not here tonight because he's at a work event. However, he's going to try and tune in later if he can. But I do have his predictions as well, which is where we're going to go soon after I say hello to the wonderful Mervyn below me.
Hello, Amanda. Thanks for having me on. It's great to see everybody again. And I'm looking forward to the predictions.
Well, you must be doing all right, Mervyn, because you've been invited back so many times. We love having you on this show. And our guests do. Our viewers do. Everyone's going to have to bear with me. We're back live.
That's okay.
And I am so busy at the moment because in a month's time, I'm going to be walking down the aisle. So I don't even know what I'm doing at the moment.
Less than a month now, Amanda. Got the date in my diary.
I know, but it's actually a month tomorrow, like the Thursday. But anyway, moving on. So now I have to contend with all the wedding plans and everything. Now I have to be plutzing at Saturday, 3:00, back at the Emirates. Come on. Looking forward to it. Also, I'd like to say hello, everybody in the chat room. So lovely to have you. Listen, guys, we need your predictions. So it's going to be Premiership winners, runners up, FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League. I still call it the First Division winners. Relegation 3, Golden Boot, Golden Glove. We will go through it all. We're going to tell you our predictions. I'll be putting up your predictions as well. So really, that's where we're going to start. Now, we all go back to the Emirates on Saturday. We all go full of hope. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run through who we think are going to win, lose, draw, whatever. Starting with the Premier League winners. Mervyn, I'm going to come to you and your reasons for your winner.
My Premier League winners this season are Arsenal. It's about time. I just think, I don't know why. I've been going many years, more than all of you, and every season I start thinking, oh, we can have a great season. But the last 2 or 3 seasons, it just seems to have ramped up. And I did feel, I was out with a Chelsea friend last night. He said, this time last year, you said you thought Arsenal were going to win the league. I said, yeah, I know. And we came really close. And this time, I think we're going to get closer. I really think we can do it. I'm confident. I think there are 1 or 2 transfer moves to be made yet. But I just think that I feel confident. That's all I'll say.
Who did you go for last year? You weren't on a prediction show, but did you predict last year?
Last year, I was confident that we would, but I felt, I don't know, I felt City probably still had the edge. And I just feel that, particularly having not lost to them last season, I got their measure there. I think that I just feel that we're moving slightly ahead in my belief, where we ought to be the favourites. I know bookies and everybody else will say City again, but I just think we're much closer there. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with new managers like Slot, but it normally takes managers like that a season or 2 to bed in. So, I'm confident.
Okay, so Cookie, you and I went for City last year. We were right, unfortunately. Who have you gone for this year?
So this year, I'm in total agreement with Merv. I'm also going for Arsenal. I still think it depends on a little bit of work that I think we and the club know that we have to do in these last few weeks of the transfer window. But I think the squad is in such a good place. I think the chemistry amongst the players is up there with City's, and I think you can't really say that about some of the other teams in the league. You know, the other teams like Liverpool, like United, that are going to be vying or hoping to vie for the title this year, whereas we've really got a group of players that really understand each other really well. So it's not about individuals. I just think as a collective, we're in the best place that we have been in a long time. But, you know, Jesus is looking in good shape. Havertz is looking really good. Saka can reproduce the form of last season. If we could see an upgraded Martinelli from what we saw last year, I mean, with Timber coming in, Calafiori, I just think there's so much opportunity. And with City having a squad that, you know, I want to err on the side of caution here, but they are aging a little bit. De Bruyne is 33 now. We all know they've got threats like Haaland, Bernardo Silva, etc. But they are a team that is getting older. That's not to say they're going to get any worse anytime soon, but they are definitely getting on a little bit. And then with losing a player like Julian Alvarez, who did contribute a lot of goals last season, I mean, I know they've obviously got a huge transfer fee, but that is a significant loss for them. If they bring anyone in, are they going to guarantee that they'll recoup those goals and assists they're going to lose? I'm not so sure. I mean, City will probably find a way of doing it, but nonetheless, I think if you look at both squads on paper, I think we're pretty much toe-to-toe with City, apart from the obvious one, which is they've got a goal machine in Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, look, I haven't gone that in depth, to be honest. Last year, I was that close to saying Arsenal. I think we were pretty similar, James. We were like, and I went for City. I just thought it wasn't going to be our year. But this year, I have gone for Arsenal. And I thought it the last couple of months, and I thought to myself, I've just got a feeling. We kept a lot of players fit last year. Apart from the Timber incident, we did really well. With the fact of what City, you're right about. The problem is with Haaland, of course. I just got a feeling it's our year. It's not me being like jumping on the bandwagon, because us three have gone for Arsenal. Chris's prediction is Man City, where he went for Arsenal last year. I think he did. So everyone in the chat room, it does seem to be that they're going for us. Obviously, we're an Arsenal-based podcast, so I do get the rose-tinted glasses thing. However, I do believe that we are going to win it this year, and it's going to be an incredible. And you know what's funny? It might not actually start off so well, and that's fine because it doesn't matter. September, October, you can't win the league then, as we know. It all comes down to what happens in May. So, Mervyn, who's your runner-up?
I'll go for City. I was thinking about this, and I wondered, with a new manager at Liverpool, we don't know what he's going to do. But I think City. I think it will be close again. I think it will come down to a small number of games. Obviously, the games between us two. And it's, I'm sure we'll get into this during the course of the show, but we do have quite a difficult first 5-6 games because of the 3 away games we've got at the start. But I suspect City, unless Slot really is a revolutionary and Liverpool really press on. City, I don't know what's happening with the 115 charges. There's talk they're going to start the hearing into that soon. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Whether it's going to be a distraction or anything for them. So it's I think they might be looking at different. That their priority is probably Champions League this season. I think, and I think Pep will want that. And it might be we can, going back again, we can do it, but I suspect it will be them second.
Well, it's just really spooky because my little eye in the top corner that no one can see says 115 people are watching, and that was the 115 charges for Man City. That was a bit spooky. It has climbed up since then, but as you were talking, I was watching it. I've gone for City. I swapped it around from last year to this year. I believe they will get second, but I think Liverpool will push them to it. We don't know what's going on. I bet you any money that it will just be fines and they probably won't even get points, but who knows anything. Cookie, you've gone slightly different to me.
Yes, so I've gone for Liverpool, and this is more of a hunch than anything else, but just playing on my last point, with City's ageing squads, and with them not being particularly active at all in the transfer market, apart from bringing in Savinho, is it? I'm not entirely confident in their squads. I mean, an injury to De Bruyne, who have they got to come in and replace him? I mean, you could say that about any team. If we lose Saka, we're in trouble. If Liverpool lose Salah, they're in trouble. But I just think their squad isn't as deep as people make it out to be. So I think Liverpool arguably have a similar issue. I mean, with them not being able to clinch the signature of Zubimendi, it does have me raising question marks about the quality of their midfield if they're going to lose Endo as well. I mean, you've got McAllister, Szoboszlai, and who else? So yeah, I still think it's anyone's race for say. Well, I mean, I say it's anyone's. I mean, it's City's race of first, really. But there's me being optimistic, daring to be different. I just think Arne Slot, from what he's done with Liverpool in pre-season, the style of football they're playing, I think it's quite a natural pick up from where Klopp left off. So I think they're going to have a good season. I still think they need to do work in the transfer market. They definitely need to sign a midfielder, but I definitely think they'll be up there.
Okay. And Chris has swapped it. He's gone for Arsenal runners up. Interesting. So people in the chat room, give us the next one is going to be who's going to win the FA Cup. Who do you think? Mervyn, tell us the reason you've gone for Liverpool for the FA Cup.
The reason I've gone for Liverpool is kind of the manager in first season bounce. And I think because of the strength of Arsenal, because of the strength of City, it's difficult coming in. If Klopp was still the manager, maybe it'd be different. A new manager's got to feel his way in the Premier League. So I suspect, every new manager wants to put a trophy on the table. And I don't know, it's a feeling I have that they might be a good bet. If Slot comes in and thinks, I'm following on from Klopp, I need I want to win in the first season. The league's going to be difficult. The FA Cup is a good thing to target, not least because, well, they've got European football as well. But I mean, not least because, some of the rounds, obviously, is when it's the run-in for the title. So if they're not part of that title chase, then come certainly sixth round semi-final, they should have a full strength team out. So I think that it's a new manager trophy.
Okay. Cookie, if I've read our predictions right, you've gone for Aston Villa.
Yeah, I mean, with the FA Cup, it's really hard to call, isn't it? Because you never know who's going to get drawn against who at what ground. So, I mean, it's a really tough one to call. But I think Villa, they've gradually been building a very, very good squad under Unai Emery. They've been playing some really, really good football, and I kind of think that justifies a trophy in a way. I mean, if they carry on as they are, they're definitely going to be worthy winners of winning something. I mean, that's definitely not a given in football. But if they won the FA Cup and had a similar year to last year, then who could begrudge them of that? I think it's going to be difficult for them this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they finished a little bit lower down in the table, won the FA Cup and got knocked out of the Champions League quite early. I mean, similarly to how Newcastle did last year. We all know that going into the Champions League when you're a club like Aston Villa, who aren't a small club by any means, but it is a big, big jump. And Newcastle, were on the end of that really when they, had some really big games and suffered from it and didn't have as good of a season as they wanted to and picked up a few injuries. So yeah, I think they could win the FA Cup, but I think as a whole, it's going to be a tough season for Villa.
So Kevin Harold, welcome to the show, Kev. Can't see Arteta putting too much importance on the 2 domestic cups. Well, I actually disagree. I think that managers learn their lessons when they don't go for the domestic cups. Fans want it. We want to win everything. I've gone for Arsenal to win it because I've seen Arsenal win the FA Cup so many times at Wembley. I've loved it. And Cardiff. I was at Cardiff as well. Chris and I have both gone for Arsenal for the cup. Literally everything so far is me thinking Arsenal are going to win everything, which is very unlike me. The other cup, the League Cup. Cookie, I'll come to you with this one. Now, you've gone Liverpool for runners-up and Liverpool for the League Cup, yeah?
Yeah, I believe so. If that's what I've written down, then that's what it is.
Have. Yeah. You feel like they're going to be a little bit more dominant this year, yeah?
Well, I think touching on what Mervyn said earlier, a trophy would be good for Slot in his first season. And I think he'll definitely take the League Cup seriously. I think a lot of new managers try to take that competition seriously just to get that winning mentality. Just, winning breeds winning. So I definitely think that, they're going to go for it. And if they play strong teams in those early rounds, then they could definitely get to the latter stages and potentially go on to win it.
Mr. Blobby, I don't like seeing that. That I don't like seeing, but welcome to the show. Mervyn.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what?
League Cup. You
League
said
Cup.
Arsenal.
League Cup. I said Arsenal. I've kind of made this point, but I don't think on this podcast before that if you go back, I'm sorry for doing the old Gits history lesson. If you go back to our greats, 70, 71, Anfield 89, they all began with League Cups. 2 League Cup finals before 70, 71, 2 League Cup finals before Anfield 89. Bruce Rioch nearly made a League Cup final in his one season. Arsene Wenger made quite a few League Cup semi-finals as well as a few finals in his last season. I think to get that winning mentality in early, I don't see any reason, particularly as we've now got some youngsters like Nwaneri going to be in the squad. I think we can take it seriously. Obviously, we could get City away in the 3rd round or something. But I think it gets a winning mentality from the start. It's something for the fans to get their teeth into. Yes, with the Champions League as well. We're still a young squad for the Champions League. It can be a distraction. But I just think getting that winning mentality, it was, funnily enough, something I remember, I said I was out with a Chelsea friend last night, something he said to me a few years ago when I said, why does Mourinho always seem to want to win the League Cup, whatever it was called then? He said, because it gets a winning mentality going from the start. It gets people used to winning games and winning things, and that's what he wants to instill. And Ferguson used to do that as well. He often took the League Cup seriously. So I think we need to take it as seriously as we can with the squad we hopefully have, and hopefully there's another couple of signings to come, and put a trophy on the table in March and then another one in May.
And I mean, we've got the squad to rotate now, haven't we? I mean, for these League Cup games, it's not like we're, picking at the bottom of the barrel. We've got players that we can chop in and out, and it's great that we're in a position where we've got the likes of Nwaneri, Lewis Skelly, and even Heaven that can come in, not all 3 at once, but, you could play Nwaneri from the start. You could bring on Lewis Skelly in another game. And these aren't really guys that are going to drop the level too much. Obviously, we're talking about 17-year-olds here, but they look really, really good. So I'm confident. Obviously I've gone for Liverpool in my prediction, but I totally agree with what you're saying there, Merv. We've got the squad to do it. And if we want to breed a winning mentality, we should take it seriously.
Let's go for the treble or the quadruple. Even though I've not gone for Arsenal, I've actually gone for Villa for the League Cup. I think they're going to step up a little bit further this season. I was really impressed with them last season. And to be honest, that 2-0 loss at the Emirates probably lost us the league, if we're totally honest. Forget the 2 games at Christmas. For me, that was it. And I think we all know that Emery is a very good manager. It just didn't work out for us. So I'm going for Villa. Unfortunately, I don't know what Chris is going on about. He's gone for Chelsea. Wash your mouth out, young Christopher. So people in the chat, go on.
I think Chris's logic was probably, with all the players and everything they're doing, it's probably the kind of trophy, because they've got such a big squad, they can't play them all the time. It's probably the kind of trophy they can put out a strongish, almost second team. I don't know what they're going to do with all these players. As I said, my friend last night said, I don't know what we're going to do with all these players. But they've got to get rid of a lot. That's why they're trying to push Gallagher on at the moment, because he's pure profit.
Yeah.
Because he's homegrown. So they can write that off against others.
Yeah. Okay. And also, people, please leave us some questions as well. We will get to questions as well. Please not like transfer questions. Anyway, moving on. Champions League. Okay, so by the looks of it, none of us have gone for us. No one's gone for Arsenal. Mervyn, Real Madrid, as you called it, Mbappe FC.
Yes. I mean, that's why they've signed him. That's why he's gone there. And I suspect that, he's probably the best striker in the world. I'm sure Erling Haaland would disagree, but I expect them to win it. I don't think we'll win it. I'd love us to get to the final. I mean, it's the biggest thing that I need to tick off in my life, having been in Paris, is to see us win the Champions League. But I don't think it'll be this season. I think if it does come, please God for us, it will probably be in a season where we've got a strong squad and we're probably not going for the league, or we're not in the chase for the league. But I just think Madrid, they're a bit of a machine, I know, but I couldn't face City possibly doing a Premier League, Champions League double. So I convinced myself Mbappe FC were going to win the Champions League.
So the thing is, the Champions League final, Mervyn, I was at, it's the only ever European away game I've ever been to. That's it. And I'm like you. I don't care about anything else. I've seen everything else.
Yeah.
I want to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
So if that meant we ended up third in the league this season and won the Champions League, sorry, for me, that's it. That's all that would tick every box since the age of 4 years old, 20 years ago, watching Arsenal. For me, Champions League has to be. That night, I remember so many things about that night. And for me, I don't know if you felt like this, but it just felt like everyone in that ground, apart from Arsenal fans, wanted Barcelona to win. All the dignitaries, all the FIFA, everybody. They just not FIFA, whoever runs it all, but they all just were very pro Barcelona. That's how I felt that night. So I agree with you. I've gone for Real Madrid. I'm not being funny. I don't think we need to really explain why, because Cookie, you've gone for Real Madrid as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think even if they hadn't signed Mbappe, I'd still be going for him. Just look at their team. I mean, having added Mbappe into the mix, you've got Vinicius, you've got Rodrigo, you've got Bellingham, you've got Valverde, you've got Militao. Just their squad is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, let's not forget the main man, Dani Ceballos. So yeah, I just can't look past Real Madrid in the Champions League.
So it's interesting. Obviously, we're reading out Chris's predictions, but he can't explain why. But he's gone for City, which I'm a little bit surprised at. But
he's not proving very popular tonight, Chris, is he?
He's got City to win the league, Chelsea to win the League Cup, and City to win the Champions League. We'll have
Who
to
did he have for the FA Cup?
He had Arsenal on here, so me and him went for that. But anyway, right, okay, moving on. Now, don't know what you lot call it. I call it the First Division still, whatever it's called, EFL 1, whatever. Don't even know. For me, I've gone for to win it. I've gone for, let me just have a look. Sorry, I've gone for Leeds. I think Leeds are going to come back up. And Mervyn, it looks like you agree with me.
I do. Leeds, I'm old-fashioned, but Leeds are a Premier League club to me, and I know that the things chop and change and stuff, but they with their history and with what it feels like, particularly as an Arsenal fan, the big games against them, particularly when I was a kid, they should be in Premier League. I'm sorry to all the other teams who are trying to get into it.
They're a big club, aren't they? They were growing up for me. Leeds were, maybe I'm wrong in this, but Leeds were like the Everton and the Uniteds. They were big. Nottingham Forest were as well. That sort of big club. I always felt like the Arsenal was smaller, than that when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. Don't all come at me because I'm talking about the 70s, 80s, not now. But yeah, I do. And I think the Leeds, when Cantona crossed, is it the Pennines from Leeds to United, it was a little bit like Sol Campbell coming to us. It was big news then. But anyway, moving on to that. Right. So both of us gone for Leeds. Chris has gone for Burnley. Cookie, Sheffield United, explain your reasons.
Again, it's more a hunch than anything else, but I think it's Chris Wilder in charge of them again, isn't it? And he's got that experience with that Sheffield United team. They've got good quality players within that side. I know they've started the season with a points deduction, but they already got a win under their belt. I just have a good feeling about Sheffield United. I think they're going to be, either first or second. I think, they won't need to come up through the playoffs.
Okay. I found this a little bit hard, the next one, because we went on to the relegated. The the three that you feel are going to be relegated. So, Mervyn, do you know the three you've chosen? Do you remember, or do you want me to tell you?
You'll have to tell me. I can't remember.
So, you went Ipswich, Southampton, and Forest.
That's right. Yes, yes. I think I had Spurs there and then crossed it out and put Forest. But yeah, I think that the bottom half, should we say, the bottom half dozen positions in the Premier League, I think we're entering one of those phases where, yeah, teams are coming up, going down, coming up, going down. And I think what it takes to make that leap into the kind of being in the top 10 and probably staying there for many years is becoming harder and harder for teams. And I don't say that lightly. It's not like, isn't that great? Because again, I can go back like you to the 70s and stuff when it was, Chelsea nearly went into the third division and I saw Spurs relegated. I doubt I'll see that again, but you never know. We live in hope. But I think those kind of things, obviously Manchester United got relegated. Those kind of things, it feels now with the main 10, 12 clubs is never going to happen again. Unless they have some unbelievably bad season for some reason. Whereas I think you've got this kind of, the thing is to come up and to get into the Premier League and be able to stay there for 2 seasons. To then that gives you a bit of a springboard to sign more expensive players to keep yourself there. So I can see this kind of teams coming up, going down, coming up, going down.
It's interesting. People are thinking that maybe City, with their points deduction, could be going down. That keeps coming up in the chat room.
But it's going to no. I mean, City, if they relegate them to the League One or something, then City will tie them up in court for years.
Of course they will.
Yeah, it's not. City's budget is sadly bigger than the Premier League. So.
Well, it's a country's budget, not that I'm going to go into it.
Nation state funded.
So Gentile 1969, my year as well. The dream relegation, Spurs, City and Chelsea.
Well, I've seen them all relegated. I mean, the day Arsene Wenger's first title, City fell into the 3rd tier that day.
Wow. Hold on. When did Spurs get relegated?
In 1975.
Oh yeah, I was only 6, so I don't remember that. I was thinking,
and they only came back. It might have been 76 before somebody shouts at me, and they were very lucky to come straight back because Southampton walked away with it, and it was between Spurs and Birmingham, the 2nd division, but Spurs and Brighton, the 2nd division, and the final game of the season was Southampton Spurs. And Spurs only needed a draw, and Southampton Spurs paid out this ridiculously tame 0-0 draw. So Spurs came up, and it meant there was this Southampton-Brighton rivalry, so it was seen as that.
Right,
but
yeah.
Had they stayed down, it'd be interesting to know what would happen. But anyway.
That's excellent football knowledge, I've got to say.
Honestly,
how you can remember all
I know. Well, because I'm old, that's why. But they came up and then signed 2 Argentinians, so it's
they did. Now, I was just about to go into that, and then they won the cup in '81 because that's when I started school. I think it was '81, and I was at school, and honestly, everyone was Tottenham. So all my school years, Arsenal were absolutely terrible from '80 to '85. I leave school, George Graham comes in. I don't see anyone again, and then we don't stop winning. So I never had that joy at school because we were really, really not very good. But we lost. We won 79.
We lost 78 and 80.
78, we lost to Ipswich. 79, we beat United. 80, we lost to West Ham. And I was at school in Essex with West Ham fans. And I'll never forget Trevor Brooking headed it in. And the thing is with that, is I met Trevor Brooking years ago and I told him you broke my heart. And he looked at me and he went, it was the best day of my life. I said, of course it was. I totally get that. Anyway, moving on. Where were we? Right. We've done your 3 down. Cookie, have we done yours? No. Do you remember yours, Cooks?
Leicester, Ipswich and someone else.
Forest,
yeah. Leicester, I'm just not sure their squad is good enough. I don't know why I was dipping my toes in Leicester City Twitter the other day, but I saw a lot of their fans didn't seem to be too optimistic about the coming season. So that's kind of my reasoning for going for Leicester. Forest, I think, they're they're playing dangerously the past couple of seasons. So I think maybe it's high time that they got their drop, as nasty as that is to say. And then with Ipswich, I mean, I would love Ipswich to stay up. I think it's great to have teams like that in the Premier League, but I just don't think they're going to quite cut the mustard. But I think they're going to be a really nice addition, similarly to the way Luton were. But I hope that, they're able to give it a really good shot.
Okay, so I went for Forest, Southampton, and Leicester. So a bit of a mix of you both. It's quite hard, this one. I don't think I've ever got the relegation. I think I've only ever got it once right and one out of the three. I just think that Forest could go down this season. Southampton too, but I'm stuck on the Leicester and Ipswich. I wasn't sure, so I went with Leicester. And it looks like Chris has gone Leicester, Ipswich, Forest. So we've between the four teams, those are the four generally that we think are going to go down. Be interesting to see. See, as everybody knows, got a new book. This is for this season. So as I did a few months ago, I went back to the predictions to see who got what right. So they're all written down. We'll do a last show on this, and hopefully, me, Cooks, and Mervyn are right. Because if we're right, we've won the Premier League. Right, interestingly, everybody, right, who in the chat room thinks the Golden Boot winner is coming from what team and what player? So, Cooks, I'll start with you first. And to be fair, we've all gone for the same player. There's no shock there, is there? Come on, Cooks, take it away.
Yeah, can't really look past him, can you? Erling Haaland, goal machine, made in some sort of laboratory in Norway. Yeah, he's gonna keep cracking on this season, I think. So, yeah, no doubts about it for me, Erling Haaland.
Mervyn, can you add anything to that? Because obviously you went for him, I didn't, so did Chris.
I for all the reasons Cookie's just said. It's kind of it's set up for that, and of course he takes penalties, he takes free kick. He's a machine. It's kind of like, it's not a freak, but I mean, I said this at the prediction show a year ago. Not this prediction show, the one at the beginning, the one in, one out. That it's kind of, we're up against a machine. And it's kind of, there are, it's probably the first time in the top tier in English football there's been somebody who can bang 40 goals a season, barely breaking sweat, it seems. It's almost automatic, and with a team set up to give him those chances. So I think it's difficult to look beyond it. I would like to say, because I've chopped and changed my one in, one out all over the summer. And I know that this isn't really the time for it, but should Arsenal sign Ollie Watkins, I think he might win the Golden Boot.
Ollie Watkins. We will get on to questions like that later, but I think generally everybody in the chat room, apart from Carl Stark, who is singing 30 million down the drain, Kai wins the Golden Boot again. I think he just wants to sing the song. I don't actually think he believes that Kai Havertz
I think
is
it was
going to do
60
that.
million, wasn't it?
Yeah, 60 million down the drain.
I think he's being funny, but that's Cole.
The first away game last season, away to Palace, I went to that, and that's the first time I heard that song. But I couldn't understand who they were singing about. And I asked somebody, I've forgotten who, on Arsenal Twitter, who's the 60 million down the drain about? And the response was Kai Havertz, and I assumed it was a joke because we'd only just signed him.
It was just brilliant. It's just the best song. Talking about songs, I think the Calafiore song whatever one we choose is just it could match up to that one, but we'll get on to him in a moment. Right, so everyone in the chat room, it's our last one now. We're going to go for the Golden Glove. Mervyn, I'll let you take this away because we've all gone for the same guy.
Yes. Oh, Golden Gloves himself, David Raya.
Yeah. Please God. Yes. Please God. Right. So they're all our predictions. I don't think we've missed anything out, have we? Is there anyone?
Did you want to do who's finishing third and fourth? I know that was on the email.
Sorry, I forgot that. I haven't written it down. So as long as you lot can remember, I'll have a think about what I wrote. But Cooks, if you want to go for that, absolutely. But everyone, just to say, everyone is saying Raya in the chat room, which is lovely. Our boy, absolutely. So, Cooks, take away who your third and fourth are.
I think in third, I'm pretty sure I went for United. Given that Eric Ten Hag has now reassembled half of his Ajax squad,
Oh,
they might have a bit of a better understanding of each other. So
hold on.
you've got it. You've got it. Okay, I'm going to hold fire because there could be a twist in the tail here.
Right. You went, James, you went Arsenal, then Liverpool, then City United.
City. How am I forgetting City? Yeah, of course, City in
Yes.
third. I think it's going to be on goal difference between Liverpool. Very, very tight. And then in fourth, yeah, Manchester United, for the reasons I've just given. I mean, he's got De Ligt back. He's got Ante in the squad now. He's got Onana. He's got Mazraoui. I mean, it's basically half of that Ajax team from a couple of years ago. So he should have a good understanding of these players. I would be surprised if United were any worse than they were last season. I mean, I know they've got a lot of ground to catch up on where they where they left off and where they want to get to. But I think honestly that fourth spot is so open. It could be United, it could be Spurs, it could be Villa, it could be Newcastle again. Chelsea, if they click, God knows what's going to happen with them. I mean, they've got such a talented group of players, but how are they going to work as a group? They're so young. They've never really played together. I think, yeah, United might have the best shot of it, but there's a lot of teams that could well make it.
Do you remember yours, Mervyn?
Yeah, I went Liverpool third, United fourth.
You did, correct.
Yeah. Much the same reasons. Ten Hag second season, strongest squad. I think
third season,
Kobe Mainoo, I think will have a great season. But again, you never know. It's kind of, I don't know who else they're going to sign. I don't know if they're going to make like a desperate signing towards the end or not. But I suspect so. I did think about another London club, and it wasn't Chelsea. And then I thought, I can't bring myself to say it. But actually, had I said it, I would, and you would have thrown it at me now. I'd have said, well, I didn't realize they were going to spend 60 million on Dominic Solanke at that point. Because I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but I'm not sure that is the super striker they need.
I'm sort of with Karen. I went Liverpool, and then I do believe fourth could be anyone. Villa, Newcastle, United, Tottenham. I think that for me is, I actually can't call it. I went Liverpool third. If I have to call one, I'd probably go United, I think. It's a bit weird saying that, but yeah, maybe. But it does seem that Tony K's gone. What's he gone? City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Arsenal third, then United. Okay.
I think it's going to be a big job for United, though. I mean, let's not forget they finished eighth last season, and to make that jump from eighth to fourth, I mean, God, no, it took us ages to do it. And although they've signed some good players, I mean, De Ligt isn't the player he was. Same for Mazraoui, Xerxes. Don't know what he's going to be like in the Premier League. And then you've got their new centre half who is Crocs for 3 months. So, yeah. I mean, and then you've got Luke Shaw as well, someone like him who's already going to miss the start of the season, isn't going to be back until after the international break. If their injury problems persist, or if they just don't prove to be a better version of what they were last season, there might not be much improvement there. So it'd be interesting.
So Jens Howe reckons that West Ham could be a dark horse for fourth. Why? Yeah, and Enzo said that as well. West Ham could upset a few people.
Made some very good signings.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Fourth could be anyone's. Not that I think West Ham will get it. I will say that now. Let's upset all my West Ham friends. But I think the league is going to go like that all the time. I think first, second, third, fourth, it's going to spin. Where last season it was us a lot, then City, then us, then City. I think might go a little bit different this year, but we're going to win the league.
Liverpool were up there for a lot of last season.
Yeah, as well.
Remember? They led it for ages.
I know. Absolutely. Right. As I did mention at the top of the show, we are sponsored again by the fabulous Ruth Beck Art. I'm just going to show you a couple of bits. Let me get her her newest stuff up, please go and visit her at ruthbeckart.com. Right, let me show you some bits that she's got. She's got these fabulous bookmarks that are players, and she's designed them all. Really, really go and support her. Look at these, they're fabulous. I love these. All these bookmarks that you can choose. She also is obviously an artist, and look at that drawing, guys. How good is that drawing?
Fabulous.
So cool. They make such good presents as well, and you're also helping a local artist and a massive gooner as well. I love that. I love that Highbury door. I stood in front of that door when we said goodbye to Highbury, and I've got a picture. And then she drew the Emirates, which is the roundabout. What's that roundabout called? It's not the Bear roundabout, is it? I can't remember what it's called. It's outside. Oh,
I
well,
think it might be.
is it the Bear roundabout?
I think so.
My head's gone a bit.
There's a teddy bear on the photo
Ewy.
as well, so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Outside the Little Wonder Cafe. Sorry, my brain's gone because I went to the Little Wonder Cafe in the summer and I took my mum and dad around the Emirates and we had a fabulous little trip. My dad wanted to see me on the mural and we went to the Little Wonder Cafe, which was there, and we all went to eat and we met the owner and it was lovely. And the last one is showing you that you can have a bird camp bookmark for your bird camp book. Head over to ruthbeckart.com and go and support our sponsor. That would be lovely. Right, yes. So I'm just going to put a few little comments up that I've just missed. Ruth Rocks. Sorry, one moment, everybody, because my little thing flew over. That is outside the armoury, you are right. Karen said, I took a look at Ruth's stuff on Etsy. It really is good. It really is good. Her Etsy shop is fabulous. Lovely. Go and support her. Right, boys. How excited are you for the season? And talk to me about what you think about Calafiori joining us. Cooks, we'll start with you.
Buzzing for the new season. I'm literally been counting down the days until Saturday. I've been really getting itchy feet about it, and now it's so close. It's just within touching distance. Time this week seems to be dragging on and on and on. But I'm sure you two feel the exact same. Just being back at the Emirates on Saturday, I just I really cannot wait for it. I'm so excited about it. And, I'm excited about Calafiori, but I'm just more excited about Arsenal being back. And, seeing players like Yuri and Timber that we barely got to see last season. Touchwood, he's fit to be in the squad for the first game of the season. But I'm just looking forward to being back amongst it, being amongst the people in my seat and just soaking up what should be a fabulous atmosphere on the first game of the season. I do still have a few slight concerns. I'm not sure if you want me to go into them now. Or well, I suppose if you had to press me for something that I'm a little bit worried about with this Arsenal team, is that I do think we are a little bit short in midfield. I know obviously we've got Partey, Jorginho, and even Declan Rice that can play in that number 6 role. But do I have enough faith in Jorginho and Partey to be the number 6s throughout the course of the season? And is Declan Rice going to be our long-term left 8? I still think there's a lot of question marks about that. And that's why I think we either need to sign an 8 or a 6. And hopefully that guy will be Mikel Merino. And then my worries can be put to bed because I think it'd be a great signing. But I do worry if we didn't make that signing and Declan Rice got injured, what would our midfield look like? And that's a big worry for me. I don't think that will happen. But I don't want us to overplay Declan Rice and be in a situation where he's running on empty. And then in an attacking sense, I still think we need one more attacker because Martinelli, I really hope he picks up where he left off in 2022-23 and we see a better version of the Martinelli that we didn't really see last season. I think he was good at times last season when we were slapping teams 4, 5, 6-0. He was at the heart of that. And then there was a game where he got a slight injury and just never really came back to being the same player. So I hope he has a really good season. Trossard, I think he's looked excellent in pre-season. I've got no worries about him, no worries about Saka, no worries about Havertz. Always got question marks about Gabriel Jesus, but he's looked sharp in pre-season. But one more guy that we can depend on for goals and assists that can rotate with someone like Saka, I think would be a huge addition. So, 2 more signings and we're in business.
Mervyn, do you agree? Do you think we need more signings? Do we need 2, like Cooks was saying? And your thoughts on Calafiori?
Calafiori, I like any dark Italian long hair. He looks a player before he even runs on the pitch, kind of thing. It's that kind of classic style of continental player you want playing in your team. So hopefully he lives up to that. Timber hopefully has an injury-free season.
Please God.
I mean, I suppose I'm a little bit concerned, if I'm honest, about Bukayo Saka. I just have a fear that he will be overplayed. I know he's young, but he's done a full summer with England. He's had to put up being trained by Gareth Southgate every day. No, I just worry that there could not a burnout, but it's. I think we need to manage him. Declan Rice, I think, is possibly because of where and how he plays, could be better in terms of also be exhausted. But I mean, might be able to handle that better. But Saka, it will be a bit of a marked man. He always is. He's always got defenders going for him. So I suppose that's my only concern, because we don't. I'm presuming that by the time we get to the end of August, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah have probably joined other clubs. So there won't necessarily be that backup there. But other than that, no. I mean, it's kind of. You're putting up a comment about Trossard on the right wing. Yeah, that is a potential, I think. I'd be interested to see, what we do if there is another striker, because I think, I'm assuming like Cookie, Mikel Mourinho, it now looks like, I must remember it's Marino and not to put that H in it like the other one. It looks like talks have restarted, so it would then be what we do about the striker. And I have a funny feeling they are looking for a striker. Whether I said Ollie Watkins, but I mean it's going to be for Aston Villa to sell him. They're going to want a lot. They're going to want 70-80 million probably.
I don't want more than that.
So it's probably not going to happen. But no, I mean, I'm very comfortable with it. I think there's enough, obviously, Calafiore we don't know, but with Marino, the concern is always if we're effectively starting with we're starting with pretty much the team that ended last season with, a couple of additions who probably aren't changing the first 11, then that always concerns me, because somebody needs to make that slight difference. So it'll be, I think an attacking signing would be good. But I mean, I'm comfortable with how things are at the moment. As I say, that all the Arsenal players who are in the Euros performed well, I thought. And it's just a case of that, as I said, without putting too much of a downer on it, those first 3 away games are quite heavy games to start in the first 5 of the season. So on the one hand, we get them out of the way, but on the other hand, as long as we get them out of the way and we're not then playing catch up.
What have we got? When does the transfer window shut? Is it the 31st or not? Does anyone know?
I think it's 31st of August.
Let me have a quick Google.
Yeah, please Google it. I mean, the Nketiah situation, he hasn't gone yet, has he? But that's all been the last 48 hours, whether he would go or not. I mean, I don't normally talk about transfers, you know that, but Cooks, you wanted to talk about a couple. Oh, it's the 30th, someone's saying it's closing.
11 p.m, 30th, Friday the 30th. So 2 weeks away, pretty much.
Well, that's my second hen night that night. So I'll be on a hen night. So if we sign anyone, please tweet me and let me know, because I'll be out with a bunch of girls, and the people that are running the hen night for me are 2 Tottenham fans, and I have told them categorically if they do anything Tottenham related, I'm leaving. Right. So, did you want to talk about some of the people that are still there, Cooks, or have you covered that?
I mean, look, I don't want to go into it too much. I know you don't like talking about transfers, but I mean, look, we've still got a couple of players that we need to move on. And Merv, I mean, I'll be keen to get your thoughts on it, because you alluded to it earlier. Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson. I mean, we've seen next to no movement at all on Reece Nelson, apart from what seemed to be nothing more than inquiries from West Ham earlier on in the window, and they kind of gulped at our asking price. And then with Nketiah, we know that we've rejected that bid from Marseille, and there's believed to be interest from Bournemouth. I do think we've done very well to acquire that fee for Smith Rowe, though. I will say that. I mean, I'm gutted to see him go, but for the money we've got, and given that he's barely played in 2 seasons, I think that's a good deal. But for you, Merv, there's still a bit of work to be done?
I think so. I just, as I said, it's kind of going into a new season with pretty much the same starting 13 or 14 you had last season, where you didn't quite get to where you wanted to be. Always, for another club, I'd say, well, they're not going to do it this season, are they? Because they couldn't do it last season with the same squad. So I'm not thinking that, because I think that we obviously had players like Timber out injured for a lot last season. Partey was out injured a lot last season. I'm still not ruling out Partey being moved on, and maybe another midfielder coming in. I'm not sure on that one. But I think there's just, I think we need something different, just something else. I'm rest assured, City aren't just going to sit on the Alvarez money. They're going to sign somebody.
Yeah.
And I saw something on Arsenal Twitter about somebody saying that Fabio Vieira can become our Bernardo Silva, and I don't kind of see that happening, to be honest. And Fabio Vieira was my one out when we did the one in, one out show. I'm not sure. I think he's made a couple of decent showings pre-season, but I think it's that midfield role, possibly that second creative, so it's not all on Martin Odegaard, that we possibly need.
No, true. I think we need a striker. An out and out and out and out bloody striker. For those games where we just can't put the ball in the back of the net, that it's just not, the Saka hits the post or Erdegaard's not doing it, or Martinelli or Trossard. We just need that out and out striker. However, Cooks and Mervyn, if you've been listening to Arteta this week, he's really been praising Jesus. So do we think, obviously it has to be this season. If it continues again that he gets 4 or 5 goals or whatever it is, then he has to be moved on next season. But Cooks, do you have any faith that he could actually do it? I love Jesus, but
Depends what you mean in that sense.
Put the ball in the back of the net.
No, if I'm being totally honest with you, because I think we've already seen it this pre-season that he does get the occasional goal, but for that one goal, he's missed 5 sitters as well. And I know that sounds incredibly harsh, but I do feel like that is the reality with Gabriel Jesus. But I'm not going to use that as a stick to beat him with, because I still think there's so much that he can offer to this Arsenal team. He was doing that and making those mistakes from day one against Crystal Palace when we went there and won 2-0 in the 2022-23 season. But we didn't look at it too much as a problem because he was sublime. Honestly, in those first few months of the season, if you go back to the game when we beat Leicester 4-2 at the Emirates, and that goal he scored where he just curled it in from the edge of the box, unbelievable. He was so good in those first few months. Take away the goals and everything, if he could replicate that form, he would still be an integral part of this team because he'd be creating chances for the players around him. Him and Havertz in the same team, if Havertz was to play in that left 8 role, if we really wanted to go gun-ho at home to teams like Wolves that we feel we could be a bit more attacking against, I think you could play them too, and it could work really well. I think they have quite a good understanding with each other. So I also think he could be an option if we wanted to rest Saka to play him on the wing. He's good there as well. So he's looked sharp in pre-season. If he maintains his fitness, goals aren't going to be everything with him. It would be great if he could score 10 goals for us in the league. And I think that's low for our number 9. But I think the general consensus with a lot of us now is that Havertz is the guy. He's the striker. And I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. If we go into the new season with our striking options being Jesus, Havertz is the number 1, and then you've got Trossard who can play there as well. And then fingers crossed we can either sign a forward, whether that's a winger, striker, someone that could be a bit of a hybrid between the two. We've got options there. So he's still a very, very, very valuable member of the team. I would probably only look to cash in on him next summer if the injury problems persist and the goals aren't forthcoming either.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Mervyn?
No, I don't think so. I think Cook has explained it really well. And I like him. He's skillful. He does the unexpected. He's very difficult for defenders to get a real hold on. It's just I just feel that we kind of we can't get a Haaland because there's only one of them. But that's why I say Ollie Watkins. It's just one of those strikers who's going to hit 25 goals. At the moment, we rely on Saka really as our main scorer. with support from Havertz, from Jesus, from Martinelli when he plays, from Trossard. It would be nice, I think, and I think you agree, man, to have that, not target man as such, because that's not the kind of game we play, but it's just having that finisher up front who can take those where it pings in and around the box all the time. It's somebody, you know, they put their foot through it. Those kind of moments, it would be good to have a striker with a striker's instinct.
The only thing I would say, sorry, Amanda, on that though, is who is out there that's attainable that can do that, and you can rely on them to do it. I don't think there is
I
anyone.
don't worry about things like that. I want a striker.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean,
that's
okay. I mean, I know we've not mentioned names, but somebody was, well, the guy I was with last night, albeit has no skin in the game, I said Chelsea, but he said about Tony, and I said, well, I don't think he's an Arsenal striker. But he is somebody that he is somebody that can come on, and we did it at the Euros, just make a difference.
Yeah,
he's physical. He can put his foot through the ball. It's.
I think he would be, for me, too expensive of an option to kind of be a Giroud plan B type player, which would be my only reservation with Tony. He's not someone that I would ever envisage Arsenal playing from the start, because I don't see him doing what Kai Havertz does in this Arsenal team.
But he is an Arsenal fan, and I think he would love to play for his Cooks. And why not have someone like that on the bench? And I know it might not suit him, but he may look at it as like, let me prove myself. I'll do what I can, you know, and you never know. And I just think sometimes you can't play the same football every game. You have to swap it. You know what it's like. Because the only times we've been at the Emirates and we've had 5 chances and no one's put them away. And as Mervyn said, he came on at the Euros and he put it away.
No, I don't disagree with you, but for what Brentford would want for him, I don't think it's a good deal, because they'd be wanting north of 50 million. And I'm not sure for what he would bring to this squad, that would be the right investment. If he was there for 20, 25 mil, by all means, go and do it. But for what it would cost to make it happen, I don't think it's a great deal. And it's like Phil says in the chat, I mean, he's got an enormous ego. I mean, the amount of times that he's disrespected Brentford, I don't really like him as a person. So I'm not sure he's the sort of player I'd want around Arsenal.
So I had a little different take on it, because I listened to him on a podcast, nothing to do with the football side of it. It was about him and the gambling situation and whatever happened. And by the end of the podcast, I was totally changed on him, actually. I really was. And I think people make mistakes for different reasons, and he should be given a chance, because I think he's a really good footballer. And I said it last year, I'd like to sign him. But who knows? I mean, obviously the dream would be someone like Ollie Watkins, I'm assuming. But if Ivan Toney came to us, I'd be more than happy. I think that is quality on our bench. And that is what we need to win that extra couple of games that could take it through to the league this season. It's just me, what I'm thinking. Right, I'll tell you what we haven't done. First of all, we haven't said to everybody in the chat room, have you pressed like? Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Do you like Cookie's new overlay behind us? He designed all that. Please.
Well, actually, I should say the people that designed the Arsenal mural did that, and I just put a nice red and white overlay on it.
Yes. So it is the overlay from the Emirates, but it's now our new background. Please tell us what you think. We could change it every week. Who knows? But please like, subscribe, press the bell on YouTube. Also, for those on audio, I know it doesn't take a second. If you could just rate us as well, because the more we get out, the more our name gets out there, and we get great guests coming on, and everyone wants to come on and chat with us, which will be fantastic. So if you hate the Spurs, go and press like. Predictions for Saturday, young gentlemen. Mervyn, what do you reckon the score's going to be?
I think Arsenal will win 3-0.
I just would like to say, Avon, no one is getting a gold star from PG unless you've pressed like. Indeed. Sorry. I agree. Mervyn, you're going 3-0. Who's your goal scorers? Have you thought about that? Oh, Simon Lester. Look, he's gone 3-0 as well.
There you go. There you go.
Saka's
bound to score one. Jesus, because we've cast doubts on him, is bound to score. And I think I would love to see a Declan Rice goal.
Oh yeah.
To start the season.
To be honest, I just like a win. To be honest, because everyone's a little bit cocky with their predictions here. We're not giving too much any respect to Wolves, are we here, Cook?
6-0, 5-0. Yeah, hold on.
That's who I mean. And
Yeah,
you've gone 3.
yeah.
I will ask Chris what his is. So 3-0 Merv. I've gone 4-2. Agree with you, Saka, Erdegaard, the usual, which is lovely. But I think Saliba will get a header.
I was
Okay.
about to change that to the fact from what I've seen so far pre-season of the corner routines, we must be up for a goal from a corner.
Well, I've gone Saliba, Saka, Erdegaard, and Gabriel.
Ah,
Right. Cooks?
So before I give my score prediction, I'd be really keen to know what team you guys actually see starting the game. And I'd really like to know what people in the chat room think as well, because I've been really struggling with this because I know, the team pretty much picks itself from now on. But with this first game at home, with, a lot of players being fit, available, we've got a lot of choice within the team. Do we see Zinchenko start at left back? Is it going to be Havertz up top? Jesus, is he going to play Havertz in the left 8? And I'm really struggling to rack my brains about who is actually going to start this game. So, Merv, I'll come to you first because you're the more sensible one. Who do you think is going to be who's going to be the 11 for Arsenal on Saturday?
I think Raya will be in goal. I think the back four will be White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko, because that's what we've been doing pre-season. Midfield will be Rice, Erdegaard, and
this is where I got stuck too.
Yeah. Okay. You're stretching me here. I think Jesus will start. I think Saka will start. I think that I don't know. He might start with Trossard on the left because Trossard has looked good pre-season and did well for Belgium at the Euros. So it's that other midfield place is what you're thinking of. I think he could start by the Havertz experiment again.
I don't think Jesus will be playing. I don't think he'll start. And it's a lovely position. It's a lovely problem to have, isn't it? They're all sitting there going, we haven't got a clue. It's not like, right, that's it,
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. So, Cooks, you haven't given us your prediction.
No, I think I'm going to base it off that comment from Barry Byrne with his lineup again. Could we get out one more time if that's all right?
Hold on,
just so I can read it out. Where's he gone? Where's Barry Byrne gone? Come on, Barry, come back.
What, the team?
Yeah, the team lineup, because that I think looking at that would have been my perfect one. Off the top of my head, I think it was Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Erdegaard. Yeah, there we go. Trossard, Havertz, and Saka. I think for me that'd be perfect. Zinchenko's looks really good in pre-season, which I'm pleased about because there were a lot of doubts about him, and if he could start the season well and just show that form of 2022-23, he'd be a really useful player to have. And at home to Wolves, these are the sort of games where I think you can get away with him playing and not have to worry too much about the defensive side of things. Obviously, don't want to take anything for granted, but with them losing Pedro Neto as well, you'd hope Zinchenko would be okay. Obviously, I've got question marks about Thomas Partey's fitness, but he looked better in the game against Lyon, so hopefully he's up to speed now after pretty much 6, 7, 8 weeks of pre-season with Arsenal. So I think he starts, and then you've got a really solid midfield of Partey, Rice, Erdegaard. And I don't think you can change that front three that ended last season so well. Trossard clinical, looked great in pre-season. Havertz up top, and Bukayo Saka. And
What's your prediction?
Yeah, God, you're really trying to rush me here, Amanda, aren't you? God, when it's you talking, you want us to take the limelight, but when it's me, God,
no.
I'm gonna go 3-0, same as Merv. Saka, Trossard, Havertz. I think all three of them will score.
So who do you go for? Saka,
Trossard, Havertz.
And Mervyn, who's your goal scorers?
Saka, Trossard. You got me thinking now, actually, about the Saliba one. I'll say Saliba.
I don't think it would be an easy game for what
No.
it's worth. I mean, I go back to that game against Forest at the start of last season, which was pretty horrible. I mean, we won that 2-0, but it was very cagey towards the end. So I'm not expecting I mean, I've predicted 3-0, but I'm not expecting it to be a 3-0 game, if that makes sense.
So that's 11 years ago. Nigel Plum said it will be the first opening day game that we've had at 3 o'clock since 2013 when we played Villa. Did we win
Lost that
that?
game. Nope.
Oh,
Lost that.
yeah.
Horrible game.
Oh, could you imagine? We do have some questions. We've got a couple of let's have a look. Cole Stark, Mervyn, who is winning the transfer window so far?
Um,
I,
I-
I don't know.
I'd be inclined to go for West Ham.
I say, well, yeah. I mean, only because they've signed a few players and they all seem good and they all seem to be players that will improve them. I think. I'm sure in the 2 weeks that Chelsea obviously because they've signed the most probably, but I haven't counted. But I still think that for us, for City in particular, probably for Liverpool, there are still signings to be made between now and the 30th of August. So far, possibly West Ham because they seem to have done their business early and they seem to have upgraded the positions they need to. But beyond that, I don't know because there's stuff to happen. Because Newcastle have got to do something as well at some stage. I think haven't they got to sell someone? That's why the Isak thing's coming through because they've got to sell to buy kind of thing.
Be nice if we could sign him.
Have you got any thoughts on who's won it? I do find it funny. People are saying West Ham United and a few others in the chat room. Right, Phil Macker wants to know: would you bin all the cups to win the league? Yes or no, Cooks?
I'm not really a fan of these questions because it kind of implies that you're going to go into the cups almost, giving up before you've even started. So what's the point in even playing them? So, I mean, look, if the situation was Arsenal don't win the cups to win the league, then yes. But I wouldn't want Arsenal to purposely go out and throw the cups with the hope of winning the league.
Right. Is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, but not bin. I don't think that's a good way of putting it.
Right. So no. Right.
No,
Mervyn.
it's a yes.
I wouldn't because we're fans, and if the league's not to be there, we had this under Wenger, kind of with fourth place is like a trophy, so we'll play the kids in this cup competition because we've got to finish fourth, kind of thing. I don't want that. I want to see trophies, and so if it's not going to be the league, I want to be at Wembley singing my heart out. So it's kind of it's of course I want to win the league. It's about time, and to me that's the measure of how great you are as a team. But if we can't win the league, then I want to win a cup. I want the day out at Wembley, and so we can't do that if we throw them. So I think hopefully we've got the squad that can go, can compete on many fronts.
Okay, I'm just going to do like an alert. Nobby said, please let people know the tube is shut from Cockfosters to Wood Green for the next 2 home games. So I know a lot of people come in on the, I think
Piccadilly
line, isn't it? So I just wanted to do I can't think what I'm trying to say, but just let everybody know that there may be an issue for that. So thank you for that. That's very caring of you. One last question. Gentown 1969. Who will be the top scoring defender this year, Mervyn?
Is that for us or in the league?
Let's go for us because that's how I read it for us.
Top scoring defender this season is going to be William Saliba.
I'm going Gabriel.
I'm also going Gabriel.
Oh, you agree with me? How lovely. Let's see what the people say in the chat room. Paul Hepker, Big Gabby again. Phil Macker, Saliba. Karen Russell, Saliba, of course. Barry Byrne Barry saying Big Gabby, top scoring defender for us in the league. That's fantastic. We're a bit split on that, so that's fantastic. Yeah. Right, so that's nearly the end of the show. I'd like to say Thank you to everyone tuning in. Please press like, as I said. Just a little bit. Oh, that was it. I wanted to do the tube announcement. I couldn't think of the word, but I've got an announcement about the pod. We are going back to doing our breakfast shows when we can. Obviously, if Arsenal play Saturday, we're going to try and do Sunday morning. So next Sunday morning, Christopher, Cookie, and myself will be back around 9:30. Get up, bring your breakfast, bring your coffee, and come and join us. And let's hope we're all celebrating because it would be nice, wouldn't it, Cooks, to have a Sunday morning breakfast show where we're happy.
Oh, I'm always happy on a Sunday morning, but yeah, it would be nice. I just can't wait for football to be back. I mean, I'm even looking forward to the Fulham United game on Friday. I just am itching for football, just the proper football, not international football, proper football. So yeah, let's get it going.
It was funny actually. Someone sent a picture from the East Stand, roughly where I sit. They were at the Emirates Cup, and said, "I'm in your seat." I didn't go to the Emirates Cup, and I thought, "You won't be next week. I'll be in my seat in that position in the East Stand upper." Mervyn, are you able to go this weekend?
Yes, I shall be there. Through pain and all of that, I don't know. I think I was on the show at the end of last season, didn't I? Wasn't I? I fractured my knee
Yeah,
late
you did.
March. Yeah, and I couldn't go for several weeks. I'm not sure it's going to hold up to 90 minutes in my seat, but I don't care. I'm going through the pain barrier. And yeah, I will be there. I can't wait. I'm also quite excited about seeing Mr. Smith Rowe on Friday night as well.
Oh, Fulham playing Friday night. So
United, yeah.
unfortunately, that's my first hen night, so I'm out for that. I'm having two because obviously that's what princesses do. Um, so Mervyn, thank you for guesting with us, and I'd like to thank everybody
It's a pleasure.
for coming on. As everybody knows, well, I think everybody does. Super Kev was laid to rest today. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the funeral, but my heart and spirit were there, and we're dedicating the show to KC tonight. I'm PG because of KC. I am determined not to cry. Um, but I'd like to thank you for all the messages, and he was such an amazing man. I had fantastic months and months, years of podcasting with him. A real super fantastic guy. Everyone loved him. He had the most amazing aura. Arsenal through and through. We all miss him, but Super Kev, I know you're dancing with the angels up there and going, get on with it, PG, get on with it, PG. I know that. And I'm going to get on with it just for you. Remember, everybody, be kind, be good, be Arsenal. And as I always say, always Arsenal. Good night, everyone.